Hello. I am the old wise dragon, and I'm here to tell you a secret. If you want to have a great time playing War Dragons, be sure to hit subscribe.
All right, it's Real Pain Wife here, RPW. I actually have a very special guest on the show today for Let's Talk Dragons, and his name is Dunk. If you don't know who he is, then you've missed out on the very special post they have on wardragons.com. Welcome, Dunk.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So you made Dragon Lord of the Month. That's pretty exciting stuff. And
yeah, I got approached with it, and you know what? It was actually kind of a shock and a surprise to myself.
Yeah, well, you deserve it. I mean, like, you really... Oh, first of all, you're a diamond player. So, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know that if they're not... You know, some of us are clear down here in Platinum. It's like, wait, what? Who's that? But you may be a diamond player, but you're one of those that reaches out and doesn't really look at people's levels or their league levels and really, you know, strive to make everybody, you know, equals in the game and work with one another and mentor other people. And I think that is a really fantastic thing about you. So what makes you so driven to do that?
You know, when I first started this game, I was like everybody else. Everybody starts from the bottom and works their way up. Nobody is any better than anybody else in the game. I just point blank. I don't care who it is. Everybody has, you know, a personality to themselves. But just because you're a level 10 compared to a level 500, it does not matter. That is a human being on the other end of that computer or that, you know, iPad or iPhone. So I've always strived. I was like, you know what? I will never get my head too big to realize that there are people in this game, you know, and I'm not going to be a big shot in this and that. So I strive to try to help the small player, and that's one of my goals. There's no better feeling than watching that small player grow after some advice that you give them and watch them succeed.
Agreed. Very much agreed. So what is your favorite aspect about War Dragons? Why do you love it so much?
Well, I say it's my family. It's just the bonds that you build with people. You know, on a daily basis, you actually literally bond, and you get to know people. It's fun flying with people, but at the same time, knowing where they come from, what they do, and all that stuff, it is actually very enthusing. You know, learning people from Japan, you know, Europe, different countries, and actually learning their cultures. You know, all this stuff. So you become a really close-knit bond between all these people.
That's so true. And it is cool how so many different countries do come together into this game, and I think it's pretty amazing. So you've made a lot of personal friends then, huh?
Absolutely.
What about the aspects of the game? Like, what things in the game, within the game itself, is your favorite thing?
My favorite thing in the game would be Atlas. Atlas is one of my favorite things to do.
Your baby, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of different aspects. I'd say if I had to pick one, Atlas is probably the best thing for me.
And how long have you been doing Atlas?
Oh, long time. Back whenever it was in the bed stages. It's been a while.
The baby stages of Atlas, huh?
Yes.
And now we got a bunch of babies that just came into Atlas, and hopefully, if they do expand soon, you know, we'll have a bunch more. So what is, you know, a piece of advice you could give to anybody that's just getting Atlas or that's about to come into Atlas?
Best piece of advice, I would say go slow, grow with some other teams, because Atlas is actually very team-oriented, besides the team that you're in. So you have to really know who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with. So when I say that is, find teams that you get along with and that you can work with. So whenever you go into Atlas, for example, start out with very small. Take advice from people that are above you. You know, don't think that you just know everything just because you just want to be that person. Just take advice and start with one island. That's all you got to do is start with one island. If you can work with one island and build that fortification up and the infrastructure up, then after you get that maxed out, then move to another one. Try to gain another one. But don't try to go in there and try to gain like 10 or 15 islands at one time. Yeah,
you're not going to... It's just like on your base. Shorter the better versus long. You know what I mean? You can protect a lot more if you don't have as much to protect anyways. So, and then I know one of the things we're going to have to learn about is alliances. So there's a lot of conversation about alliances out there. And one of the terms I heard you say when we talked once before which I thought was like a name of an alliance, was the term 5TA. So this is a pretty common thing thrown around once you start to join the bigger alliances, correct?
Yes.
So what is 5TA? What does that stand for?
It's your 5-team alliance. The 5-team alliance is actually the 5 teams that you deal with, say, on a daily basis. Your 5 closest teams that you can work with and that you can support each other. You set up an atlas, you help each other out, you defend each other, you attack with each other, you do everything together within that 5TA. That's just your closest family within the alliance. Now, if you have more teams, which a lot of people do, then they can be included, but they're not going to be the closest. So always take your closest, teams and put them in one and grow together.
Right, and then have what you call the non-official alliances with others.
Correct, yes.
Yes. So it's really funny. Right now is the fortification going on right now as we speak, and my intention was to jump in and start building the Earth flag. And whenever I did my Talk Dragon Tuesday recently, I actually told everybody, and you're the player I was talking about, that somebody in the same chat as us had asked you, hey, what is your thoughts on the Earth flag? And you made this serious point that completely changed my plans for this fortification. And what was that point? Like, what's your thoughts?
Okay, my point with the Earth flag.
Okay.
Okay, as far as the Earth flag goes, if you can afford to go out there and just max it out right away, go right ahead. More power to you. But for the average player, I suggest that because embers are really hard to come by, as everybody knows, they're extremely hard to come by. So what I suggest is take all the flags that you have, whether it's a fire, whether it's snow, an ice, whatever it is, max those out for your level. That's the first thing I would do. Use your embers to max those. Because if you don't, then you turn around and you bring that Earth flag out, you're going to run out of embers more than likely, unless, like I said, you can afford to just max them all right away. But you're going to run out of embers. So if you do just do the math. For example, if you have 10 flags that are level 10, and you can max them out at 15, why not max those out at 15 instead of bringing an Earth flag in and have everything stay at 10?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It was so funny, too, because I thought, well, I've got all kinds of embers. So I go into, when you said that, and then I go to build today, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this Earth flag. He makes a great point. And I've almost got some of them maxed. Like, I didn't even realize how far I could go now. I didn't realize how much I've grown. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, I will run out of embers before the end of this event without even touching the Earth flag. So in all reality, it's a lot more embers than what we even realized. So I don't know, I'm super thankful for that tip, because stronger the better.
If you max the ones you got first.
Right.
If you have a little bit of embers left, just pull one out, pull the Earth out, do what you can on it, and put it back in storage.
Right.
And then save your embers, and then pull it back out later, do a little bit more leveling, put it back in storage. That way, you're still constantly on it if you have the extra embers. If you don't, hey, just leave it alone, because your storm tower is going to be pretty much the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it has the same concept.
Right.
It's going to protect the other ones whenever super shots come about. So that's my advice to anybody.
Well, not to mention, it is easier to build, so you can get that higher level than you more than likely can get your Earth flag. So then it ends up being stronger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your base can benefit from your other flags being maxed out before you want everything on your base to be maxed out first before you go out there trying to get something new and, making everything less powerful.
Right.
So max everything that you got first to make it more powerful. Makes
sense. You really had a great point there, and I was just like, that is such a great point. Now, what about dragons? Let's get into the dragons, because it is Let's Talk Dragons. What is your favorite dragon thus far?
Oh, I'm working with a couple different ones, actually. Right now, Exani is like my main dragon. That's the one that is like my go-to.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm still working on a couple other ones. There's that, I'm playing with him a little bit, even though it's a warrior. I think he's going to be, pretty decent. Pathox, he's probably maybe my second favorite, but at the same time, Itzani is probably my number one because of his abilities.
Of course, Itz is a very high-level breedable dragon up in the Vanguard, correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Yeah, so not all of us have that one. So what about it? So Pathox would be your favorite of this season, though?
What's that?
So Pathox would be your favorite of the seasonal dragons, but Itzani the favorite of the breedable.
Not necessarily.
Oh,
not
really?
necessarily. No, not
Okay.
necessarily. And the reason I say this is because everybody has a different path.
Right.
Not everybody can fly hunters. Not everybody can
True.
fly sorcerers, and not everybody can fly, warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on the person. Now, I've seen Aristat, and I've seen, Pathox. I've seen them maxed. I've seen people that can't fly Pathox for the life of them
Yeah,
because
I
they're
have
not
too.
hunter. Yeah, because they're not hunter flyers.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what you're comfortable with. And where I'm going with that is I'm working on both, Pathox and Aristat both at the same time right now. The problem is what you're comfortable with compared to what you can do with that dragon.
True.
Knowing the spells and knowing what you can do. So not necessarily that Pathox is by far any better than any other ones.
Right. I agree. I personally, I'm one of those that I can fly all of them, but I like my sorcerers just because I don't have to think. I can just do. But I like those hunters for those bases. It's like, without a hunter, we aren't going to make it.
Okay, for a smaller player that's just now entering the game, they really need practice with, like hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Hunters take a little bit of skill compared to like. So I would recommend if you're going to go for a branch within the season, go for Aristat if you can, if you can make it there and you can get, time's ticking right now. You only got a few days left, but
Right.
Aristat is actually really good, and that goes along with, the runes and all that stuff that go along with it. But it's an easier dragon to fly, so to speak. So I would suggest, like somebody coming in, practice on your hunters. But if you're going to go for a branch dragon, go for that warrior because it is absolutely easier to fly, and he's not that bad of a dragon. I'm flying him right now, and I have no problems with him. So I would suggest that for any lower players that are kind of struggling with the different kinds of dragons.
Did you watch the live stream for the new dragons coming?
Yes, actually.
I'm like, oh, and I just can't wait to see the spell sets.
That's what I want to know.
I
Spells are
know.
like so important to me.
Yeah, I know. It's like day one watching it is just like, it's just to look at it at this point. So I'm like, I mean, the sorcerer's pretty, but I'm like, she might be a crap show. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you never know.
That's
until
true. Until we get the
you get it.
spells.
And so that brings up another point, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
New players that come to the game, I always tell them another little piece of advice, whether they take it or not, it's up to them. But save your sigils and all that stuff, save them. And whenever you want to see like what powers they have and all that stuff, so you don't waste your money, watch the other players whenever they do max them, the people that have the money to be able to spend in the game or whatever, and that rush to it to get it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Watch those dragons fly. That way you can kind of see, and you'll hear rumors about like which one they like better or which one is more powerful or what spells are working. Save all those sigils and then make your decision later. There's
Right.
nothing saying that you have to rush to anything right off the bat. And I know War Dragon's probably like, don't say that, but hey, it's the truth.
It is the truth, but it does come with its downside. The rewards along the way help us in our events as well. So that's why I've always said to players on my channel, if you're going to, spend your sigils off the bat, take advantage of 50% off Dragon just for the rewards, and then maybe go and get the egg token bonus. But beyond that, I generally save my stuff back until I know.
No, actually, you're right. Now, the 50% off Dragon, by all means, that's a kind of a limited time, offer, whatever the case is. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree with that point. But after that,
Wait.
for the other ones, because like this season we had two branches. You can go this way or you can go that way.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, kind of watch and see what people say. Say, take advice from somebody that's up above you. It will never hurt you. And
Absolutely.
don't even just take it from one person, because one person doesn't know everything. Hell, even myself, I go and I talk to different people on my team. I'll be like, hey, what do you think about that? And I take different advices from different people before I make my decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today, and I know everybody's going to be excited to hear from the Dragon Lord of the Month. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm so excited that you were able to give me some time to do this, because I know you guys are busy up there. I know Diamond League has got to be crazy busy, but we appreciate you making time for us.
Oh, that's no problem. The deal about the spotlight, that's actually for all the players. And I appreciate supporters. That's the bottom line. The
Right.
supporters are the one that actually put me in that position, and without all the supporters and without I wouldn't be nobody. Honestly, that's just the truth. So I appreciate for everybody supporting me and supporting what we do, and just fly and be happy. That's it.
Right. Well, again, thank you, and thank you for being a friend. I appreciate you coming on the show. So
All right,
we'll have you on again, of course, if you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
All
Anytime.
right. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.